episode 37 of Knitting Needles and Stems. I'm Carrie, I'm the host, and today is Sunday, June 28th, 2026. Today's segments will include works in progress, finished objects, knit-alongs, my patterns, and gardening. Welcome back to all my returning viewers. Thank you very much for coming back, and a very big welcome to all the new viewers. You can find me on Ravelry, Patreon, and Facebook as Knitting Needles and Stems. My Ravelry username is Kabammer. So, what's new? Big new this time is I just got back last weekend from the Yarniacs podcast Knitaway 2026. We had a lot of fun. We had ice cream and pierogies in the park and a fashion show and visited the yarn store, and it was all just a lot of fun. I didn't pick anything up from the stash table, but I did get 2 items from the stash clothes table, which they still need to be washed. Actually, I got 3 items from the stash clothes table, so they still need to be washed. And then I can start wearing those. It's just a lot of fun to hang out with other knitters and get to talk about the things that we like to talk about. And you can sit and knit when you want, or you could go for a walk. The weather was absolutely perfect this time, so it was just really great. It's really great every year. So that's the big news for this time. We did have Musky Fest yesterday in our little town. It's just a festival. A bunch of vendors come, and they have a dairy breakfast in the morning where they have pancakes and sausage and eggs and all the dairy products. So my 15-year-old actually got to have ice cream for breakfast, which, you know, what 15-year-old wouldn't love to have ice cream for breakfast? So that was a lot of fun too. All right, well, let's jump right into works in progress because I have a lot of them this time. So for the first day at the retreat, I worked on my ultimate lounging shorts by the Cumbrian Knitter. For these, I'm using Kabasi DK and Indigo. And I've got both of the legs done, and I'm working on the body of the shorts. Here they are. The color is a little brighter on the screen, I think, than it is in person, but they're cotton, bamboo, and silk mix, so they should be really comfortable to sleep in. And it says for me to keep knitting until I get to my hip bones. This pattern is more of a recipe for shorts instead of a pattern for shorts, because you go based on your measurements and then just kind of follow along with the guidelines that she gives you. So I'm supposed to keep going until I get to my hip bones, which I'm going to have to put it on some barber cord to try it on, which I did get some barber cord from the D-stash at the retreat also. I did never have any before. So I'll do that when I think I'm getting close to where my hip bones are, because then you start doing the decreases for the top. And they will have a drawstring so I can tie them to make them stay on. So, and then I'll end up making some kind of top. These will be pajama shorts. I don't wear shorts really in public. So yeah, these are the ultimate lounging shorts by the Cumbrian Knitter using Haiku Kobasi. Here's my tag here, Kobasi DK in the indigo colorway. Anyway, they're cotton, bamboo, and silk with some elastic in there. Okay, the second day that I was at the retreat, I worked on, oh no, let's not go in that order. We're going to go in the order that's on my on my screen here so I don't miss anything. Next, I worked on my Coziest Memory blanket. This is the Coziest Memory by Kemper Ray. I got this bag at the retreat that I'm now keeping my blanket in, because I also got a lot of scraps for my blanket from some of the other knitters. And mostly from Sarah and Mary, but there were a couple others. And so thanks Sarah and Mary for all the scraps. And since the last time we recorded, or I recorded, I've only done 3 squares. Why did I put this on here like this? I try to keep my stitch marker on here in between the squares, and it's so tiny that it's hard to keep track of. Anyway, I did 3 squares since the last episode, so I finished my broken jack socks, which I'll show you later, and that's this square. This was a square from one of the scraps from the bag, and so was this one. So I'm almost done with the second row. I have 4 more squares before I'm done with the second row, and then I can put another black strip and start on the third row. So that's coming along. Of course, it's a long-term project, so you're going to be hearing about it for a long time. But I'm still having a lot of fun with the squares, and now I have other scraps that I can use from some of my knitting friends, which is always fun. So I can look at my blanket and go, oh look, that's from Sarah and that's from Mary, and maybe next year I'll ask for more knitters to bring me some scraps, so we'll see. Again, that is the Coziest Memory by Kemper Ray, and I'm using, my plan is to, every time that I finish a fingering weight project, to use that yarn first and then just use the other scraps. So that's what I've been doing with that. The next thing that I work, and I did put 1 square on that at the retreat on Saturday last week. The next thing that I've been working on, I got a few rows done on it, is Sea of Flames Poncho by Nancy McElmurray. And for this one, I'm using 100 Ravens Yaksha in Starry Night. And I haven't started on the other skein yet, so I won't tell you about that one. And I'm using beads from Fire Mountain Gems. So here is what I have so far. I'm almost ready for the last chart. You can see I'm getting to the lighter colors here, and since I have more of the, let's see, yeah, I have more of the gold beads than I have of the purple beads. My plan, I think, is going to be to wait until I get to the gold section in my skein before I start using the purple beads. So you can see I'm pretty close there. It's coming along really good. The beads really stand out against that purple, and it'll look really great once I can get it off the short needle and spread it out so you can actually see the whole thing. So anyway, that is the Sea of Flames Poncho by Nancy McElmurray, using 100 Ravens Yaksha in Starry Night, and the beads are from Fire Mountain Gems. Okay, now next I worked on a baby hat. These are just hats that I'm making using the little tiny scraps that are too small for my blanket, fingering weight scraps. And this one, don't make fun of the way that I'm keeping all the yarn together. Here I'm using helical knitting with 4 different colors. So this is the main color I'm using, you know, and it'll stripe throughout the hat and kind of bring all the colors together. And then the other ones, I'm using up scraps, so they will change from one skein to another, or one ball from another. Like, look at this little tiny one. That's not going to last but a couple of rows. And in case you're not familiar with helical knitting, what I did was, there's 80 stitches in this hat. I'm using 4 different colors at a time. So you knit the 20 stitches, and then you drop that yarn and pick up the next yarn. So when I get to the beginning of the row, this is the beginning of the row, this is the color I'll be using. And I'll knit these 20 stitches, and then I'll drop this orange and pick up the green. And not twist them, because that makes the hat look weird. And then you knit the 20, drop that one, pick up the next one, knit the 20, pick up. So that's what makes these cool little thin stripes. And they're actually spirals that come up the hat, but they look like stripes when it's all done. So this is just a baby hat. I cast on 80 stitches. I work until it's long enough, and then I Kitchener the, or graph the two sides together to make it square on the top. Okay, the next thing that I worked on is my cabled aisles throw by Helen Gibson. For this one, I'm using Knit Picks Mighty Stitch worsted in mulberry heather, navy heather, cream, spruce, navy, and celestial. I didn't get a lot done on this time, but I really love the square that I'm working on right now, which is this one. Look at those cables, and they have a little like passover stitch in there to really accentuate them, and I really like how it's looking. I'm on the second row, so I've got one row all the way done with the different cables, which I showed you previously, and then I'm working on the second row here. And all of the colors are now in the blanket, so I think they all look really great together. These are the closest colors that I could get to the pattern. And that's what my kid wanted, was close to the pattern colors. So, and I was I'm joining them as I go, the strips, and I'm not really liking how it's joining here. If anybody has any suggestions on a smoother, maybe less noticeable join, please let me know, because I will switch. My kid's not gonna care that these bottom two look like this. So if I can switch to something that looks a little better, a little cleaner, that'd be great. So again, that is the Cabled Aisles Throw by Helen Gibson, using Knit Picks Mighty Stitch worsted in mulberry heather, navy heather, cream, spruce, navy, and celestial. Next, I am still working on my Fish Lips Kiss Heel Socks by Socks Therapist. The heel is the pattern by Socks Therapist. I'm just using a vanilla sock and using that heel. Here is sock number 1. Sorry, I got a cat hair on me. Sock number 1, you can see this is what I was using my sock blank for. I will put a picture of the sock blank here for you to see. And I had gotten a long way through the leg of this sock and realized that I think I needed a little more stretch, because I cast on less stitches and I'm using smaller needles than I usually do. So I went back, I frogged back to the heel, and I'm doing a 3x1 rib on this part. So it'll give me a little bit more stretch. Hopefully it'll fit me. If not, I'll give it to one of my kids who has almost the same size foot as me and thinner legs than I have. So that's sock number 1. Here is sock number 2. And it is just through the heel. I work my socks in tandem, so it's toe, toe, foot, foot, heel, heel, and then it'll be leg, leg, cuff, cuff. So the colors are really matching up. I think they're gonna look really great when they're done. The next flower color that I'll get to is the red flower, which is going to be a really big contrast, but I just love colorful socks, and my socks never match my clothes, which is fine because I don't want them to. They don't have to match my clothes because they're never seen, they're in my shoes. I don't hardly ever wear my see-through shoes, so. Anyway, these are plain socks with the Fish Lips Kiss heel by Socks Therapist. And the next project that I worked on is also Fish Lips Kiss heel socks. For these, I'm using Wool Addicts by Lang Yarns Footprints in the colorway 1115. So this is the yarn that I got at the retreat last year at the yarn store in 2025 retreat. And this is the sock. I don't have the needles to do these in tandem, which I would really love to, because that way I know they would be the same, but I don't have enough needles. Like, I need to order another set of these, but I have the heel's done. I'm working on the leg. I do have a marker here. I need to find out when I started my heel so I can place the marker so I'll know I'll have the same amount of stitches between for the foot and for the leg on the second sock, but I'll figure that out later. So this is Fish Lips Kiss Heel Socks by Socks Therapist, using Wool Addicts by Lang Yarns Footprints in the colorway 1115. I cast these on. I wasn't going to cast on another sock because I still had my other Fish Lips Kiss Heel socks going, but we have been going to the movies a lot this summer because our theater has $5 movies on Tuesdays, and there's just lots of movies that we want to see. So we've been going every Tuesday to see a movie, and with that 3x1 rib on the leg of that sock, I didn't want to take it to the movies to knit. So I cast on this sock that I could work on during the movie. Okay, the next thing that I worked on is, I'm calling it my Advent 2025 hat pattern. This is using all of the leftovers from my Lolo Did It Advent set that I got last year in 2025. And it's just a 2x2 rib hat pattern. I started at the crown. I didn't use a pattern. I just started at the crown and increased along the 4 ridges here, you can see. And my plan was to just keep knitting until I ran out of yarn, but I've already got a hat's worth done and a big ball left. So if I keep going until I get to 4 colors from the end, then I will measure and see if I think I have enough to do a double-sided hat, and then I'll start decreasing on the other side. Or if I don't quite have enough to make a double-sided hat, then I will just keep knitting until I have enough yarn to bind off, and then I can always fold up the brim to make a super warm hat for myself. So this was the Lolo Did It Advent 2025, and I'm calling it my Advent 2025 hat with no pattern. It's just a 2x2 rib, which I might write up, or I might not. So we'll see. Next, at the retreat on Saturday, I cast on my Colors of Fall knit along project for the Yarniacs podcast group. In this bag that I also got at the retreat. So yeah, I got 2 bags, a tank top, a pair of pants that were knit, and a linen top hoodie, which is really awesome. I need to wash it and wear it at the retreat. So I cast on Gentle Drizzle by Emily Kintai from the Operation Sock Drawer book by the Knitmore Girls. So I have the foot of 1 sock done. Oh, for these I'm using Greenwood Fiber Works Simply Sock in the Aqua colorway. So I got 1 foot done here. And really I'm just using, this is in the book, it's a top-down sock. I don't like top-down socks. I prefer toe-up socks. So I modified to toe up. I'm going to use my Fish Lips Kiss heel like I do on all of my socks because I know I like the way that fits. And so really I'm just using the chart from the book, which is a really fun chart with these little cables that look like rain, especially on this blue. Wow. And on the second sock, I've started on the chart pattern already. And I will get the foot done on this one, and then I'll do the heels and the legs and the cuffs, and those will be great. Again, that is Gentle Drizzle by Emily Kintai from the Operation Sock Drawer book by the Knitmore Girls, using Greenwood Fiber Works Simply Sock in Aqua. And the bag actually matches the yarn, which is pretty awesome too. Another plus. Okay, my last work in progress is my, oh no, it's not the last one. I have my counted cross stitch. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you about this, and then I'll tell you about the other thing that I started working on. This is Day's End by Judy Gibson, and I've almost got that whole row done. I'm on the last few little, you can see my needle there. It's in this section that I'm supposed to work next, so I'm just gonna leave it there. But I'm almost done with that row, and then I'll do 10 rows across, and then 10 rows, and then eventually I'll end up having this done. It might be like 2035 before I get there, but it'll get done. And I've seen some really cute other cute counted cross stitch patterns that I am interested in. I haven't bought any because I want to finish this one before I buy any more, but there's lots of cute ones out there. Again, that was the counted cross stitch by Day's End by Judy Gibson. And I've already mentioned that I finished my broken jack socks. After I finished those, I knew that I wanted to make something for my aunt. My aunt's birthday is on July 4th, and she loves the fact that she was born on Independence Day for the United States. So I decided I wanted to make her some coasters, but I couldn't really find any patterns on Ravelry for coasters that I liked. So I was inspired by the short row challenge that we're doing in the Knitting in the Loft group, and I came up with a star pattern using short rows, which these I just cast on 14 stitches and then increase and do short rows to the point, and then decrease and do short rows to back to 14 stitches. I'm thinking I'm going to rethink the way that I do the short rows and maybe start with the long section instead, because it does curl up. You can see how they're curled. Blocking does really help with that, but it will lay flat, and it's a coaster, so you're gonna be sitting a cup on it anyway. But I like the way these are turning out with this yarn, because I like the color pooling that's happening, and it's like sporadic and wonderful. So these are just star coasters that I probably will end up writing up this pattern and sell it for a couple bucks or something. Maybe I can find a good charity to give that money to. All right, so let's move on to finished objects. The first thing that I finished, I feel like I should talk about first because I'm wearing it, is my 3-in-1 by Alpha Knits. For this one, I used Collage Yarns Riveting Sport and Storm, Lava, and Sand. It is done. I got great buttons actually I got them at Hobby Lobby, which I was kind of surprised to find something there that was suitable. I really loved the way it turned out. Looks like 3 shirts in one. That's what I've been telling you. And it is so comfortable. It's made from 100% recycled blue jeans. So it's like wearing blue jeans on the top and the bottom, which is great. And I just love everything about it. It's lightweight, semi-lightweight. I wore it some at the retreat. Got lots of compliments on it. And it's nice for warmer weather. Like today, it's in the 70s. It's going to get really hot tomorrow, so I probably won't be able to wear any knits tomorrow, but this is a comfortable sweater for today. Again, this is the 3-in-1 by Alpha Knits, using Collage Yarns Riveting Sport and Storm, Lava, and Sand. Okay, next I finished my broken jack socks, which I've already talked about a couple of times. This is by General Hog Buffer. And for these, I used Biscotti Yarns Bis Sock in the colorway 190708. So here is one on the blocker. You can see it's just short rows. That's all it is. It's short row, short row, short row, short row. These are cuffed down. And really, they have to be, unless I make another pair, because I already know how many rounds I need for the toe. But once you get to the toe, I added I added more repeats of the pattern because I knew how long it was and how long I needed it. But I added more repeats of the pattern here than it called for, so that I would have less just round at the toe. But now that I know I only need 3 rounds at the toe, and then I know how many of the pattern I need, I could make other socks with that were toe up instead of top down. But here's one on the blocker, and here's one not on the blocker. And I did use the Fish Lips Kiss heel for these socks. It's my favorite heel. I use it for everything. And they're perfect for our nation's 250th birthday that's coming up. So I will be wearing them on July 4th. And yeah, so that's a lot of fun. These are Broken Jack by General Hog Buffer using Biscotti Yarns Bis Sock and the colorway 190708. Then I have 3 snowflakes. We have the Easy Peasy Snowflake by Elsa Koss. All my snowflakes are made using the Aunt Lydia's thread. It has some sparkle in it. So this is the Easy Peasy Snowflake by Elsa Koss. And then the next one is Petite Snowflake by Deborah Atkinson. This one is so tiny and cute. And then we have the 6 Zeroes Snowflake by Deborah Atkinson. They will be blocked. I'll block them in a 50-50 mixture of Epsom salt and water. You bring it to a boil, dissolve all the salt, let it cool off some. I dip the snowflakes in it and then pin them out. Some people like to pin the snowflakes out and brush the mixture on them. It makes them nice and stiff, and it will not attract any critters. Like, it's not like using sugar and water to stiffen them. That may attract some critters, so that's a good thing. The next thing that I finished is not here with me. It was at the knitting retreat. We kind of had, me and Catherine kind of had a challenge going. She brought a sock monkey kit that was actually 2 socks that you make a sock monkey out of the traditional way, like back when sock monkeys were the toys that people made for their kids out of socks. Her mother gave it to her as a Christmas gift, and she is a little freaked out by sock monkeys, so she was not going to make it. So she held it up when we were sitting there and said, somebody needs to make this sock monkey because I don't like sock monkeys and my mom gave me this. And I told her, I will make your sock monkey if you will test my pencil gnome pattern. So challenge accepted. She picked up some yarns from the D-stash table to make the pencil gnome, and I made the sock monkey, which I had a lot of help from our friend Anne. Thank you very much, Anne, for bringing your sewing machine and making my life so much easier with the sock monkey. But then the pencil gnome and the sock monkey were both donated to a local knitting guild to give to children. So this is pictures of the sock monkey hanging out around the DeKoven Center in Racine during the retreat. And there's even one here of it with the pencil gnome that Catherine tested for me. Thanks for testing for me, Catherine. It was a lot of fun to have this little challenge during the retreat. I actually had to make a run to Michael's to get some stuffing for the sock monkey because we didn't even think about stuffing. She had stuffing. She used yarn ends from one of the other Carrie's blanket to stuff the gnome, but that it would have used way too many sock ends. And everybody kept telling me to use some spinning fiber to stuff it, and I could not consciously put good spinning fiber inside of a sock monkey. So I ran to Michael's one morning and picked up some stuffing, and I will use the stuffing because I do make stuffed animals all the time, so it's no big deal. All right, the next thing that I finished is a baby hat. I was telling you about baby hats earlier. These are just little square hats that I make. This is what the helical hat is going to look like. This one is not helical knitting. This is just, I cast on 80 stitches, did 10 rows of 1x1 rib, and then just knit with random balls until they were gone and switched to a new one. These are really using up a lot of the leftovers that I have, the little balls. I'm using the little balls for these, and it's working out great. And then some babies will get some little hats. And the last thing that I have here is a star coaster that I was just talking about. Here is a finished star coaster. You can see that blocking them really helps it lay down because it's pretty flat. And I really like the way that it looks with it's kind of like a pinwheel star. And these will not get to my aunt before her birthday on the 4th because I only have this one done and one more that I could probably get done today. But I want to send her 4 of them. So they won't get there by her birthday, but she'll be grateful to get them. Right now she's in Hawaii anyway on vacation, so it doesn't matter. So anyway, that is a star coaster for my aunt. Let's move on to knit-alongs. The first knit-along that I participate in is in the Project a Month COFKAL group. And for June, we did the Ennui shawl. It's a shawl pattern by Justyna Lorkowska. And that was for June 2026. So when this comes out, we will have 2 more days of that one. But for July, we are working on your country. So like I have these for my country, red, white, and blue for America. So just make something based on your country. Like it can be from your countryside, from the greens outside, from your country's flag, any interpretation that you want. Just come and share your projects with us. That's really all we want. We just want people to chat together and get to know each other and ooh and all over each other's projects. The next knit along that I'm participating in is in the Yarniacs podcast group, and it is the Colors of Fall Knit Along 2026. It runs from June 21st to September 22nd, 2026. And you can find the Colors of Fall colors in the Yarniacs podcast group. There's a link down below for that. And my Gentle Drizzle socks are the ones that I am making for that knit along. If I finish those, I might cast on another. We'll see. But it's always fun to try to match your yarn with the colors from the Colors of Fall. And there's so many different colors that almost every color will match something. So that's the Yarniacs podcast group, Colors of Fall Knit Along from June 21st to September 22nd, 2026. I'm also a sponsor in the Downseller Studio podcast, Splash Pad Party 26. That runs from May 22nd to July 31st, 2026. And if you use one of my patterns, then you get extra points towards prizes. So that's always fun, and whips are eligible in this knit along. So if you finish something, you can post it there, you can get points, you can win prizes. So that's always fun. Next is the Crazy Sock Lady podcast, Summer Sock Camp 2026. This runs from May 25th to August 31st, 2026, and you just make socks. And they do have to be, oh no, whips are eligible for this one too. So just finish some socks, post them in the group, and you can be eligible for prizes there too. And it's a lot of socks. There are a lot of people finishing a lot of socks, which is really fun. It's really fun to see all the sock patterns, the different sock patterns, and get inspiration for those. All right, then we have the Craft, Cook, Read, Repeat podcast is having their bingo. It runs from May 22nd to September 7th, 2026. I kind of think I have those dates mixed up. I think the Summer Sock Camp is the 22nd of May, and the Craft, Cook, Read, Repeat is the 25th. I'll look into that, and I will correct my notes and going forward. Anyway, so I love to get, sorry, there's a gnat. I always like to try to get a bingo, obviously, a line, and then I want to do the coverall. So I have plans to do all the things for the coverall. These are the things that I've completed so far. For crafting, there was to repair something, and I repaired Reagan's curtains. I hemmed them to the length that we needed to cover her windows. There's try a new technique or medium. For this one, I did the monochrome paint by number, which is this right here. Just so happened, this is a mystery book that me and my oldest bought together for us to do. It has 100 different mystery pictures in it that you make using just one pen. And just so happened the first one was a sheep. How perfect is that? But it's really pretty fun to do this kind of like paint by number. So anyway, that's my new medium. Finish a work in progress. I finished my 3-in-1. Vacation, crafting, cooking, or reading. I went to the knitting retreat and did no cooking, but did the other 2 things at the knitting retreat. Start a new project. I started my Gentle Drizzle by Emily Kentai. For cooking, cook sweet and spicy combination. I made chocolate cayenne cookies that were too spicy for my husband, but they were just right for me and my oldest. We ate them all up. Let someone else cook. My oldest actually cooks every Friday, so that one was really easy to get. Cook a new recipe from an old cookbook. I made the Alfredo from the Better Homes and Gardens book that we have. It's the old traditional red and white Better Homes and Gardens book. So that was an old cookbook. Read a book by a debut author. I read 3 Bags Full by Leonie Swan. That is the book that's based on, that the movie Sheep Detectives is based on, and the movie is really cute. If you haven't gone to see the movie, go see it. I enjoyed the book. It's a little hard to get into, and I've heard a couple people tell me that they are just having trouble getting into it. I did watch the movie first and then listen to the book, and one of the people who said they were having trouble with the book was getting confused about who's a person talking and who's a sheep talking. The movie kind of helps straighten those 2 out. So, but the movie is available on Prime now, Prime Video. So if you have Amazon Prime, you should check out the movie if talking sheep don't freak you out. Okay, read something by or about a person of color. I read All the Noise at Once by Deandra David. That was a really good book. It's about a African-American teenager who is autistic, and his family and these troubles that they're having not because of his autism. It talks about some about his accommodations for autism and like working through that while living in America as an African-American person. So it was a really good book. If you haven't read it, I think you should. It's very enlightening to that situation. And I also read something American. I read Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ng. There is a TV show about this that I've started to watch too. The book is really good. Like, it's just an American fiction book about 2 different families that have completely different backgrounds, and they come together in this book, and it was just really interesting. I didn't expect to be that interested in it, but I was. So that's all the squares that I've completed so far. I have plans for all of the others. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 squares out of the 25. So that's pretty good. Now we can move on to my patterns. I sell patterns on Ravelry as carried from fleece. My pencil gnome is in testing right now. The test is set to end on July 15th. And then I will get that pattern published. The new shawl pattern has been sent to the tech editor. It's actually was sent to my friend Carol, who just finished the tech editing course. And I'm really excited to have her working on it. We've been bouncing it back and forth. I've been, you know, I had my pencil gnome tech edited. She doesn't do toys, so my pencil gnome was tech edited, and then I sent her the revisions that tech editor had sent to me, and it really helped her out. And she's helping me know what some other designers do, because I'm just kind of here by myself. I don't have other designers that I talk to normally, and it's just good to hear what other designers are doing for that too. So that one is almost done tech editing. I'm going to wait until after my pencil gnome test is done before I put that one into testing, but it will be going into testing soon. And then I will probably write up the star coaster patterns and have her give it a quick glimpse. It's like a 4-line pattern. It's pretty simple, but yeah, look for those to be coming soon. Let's move on to gardening. So before I left for my retreat, the weekend before, me and my husband went around to some yard sales, and we happened to go to one where when I was walking up to this house, they had a big pot with little bitty cactuses in it. Cacti, sorry, in it. And I was like, oh, look how cute they are. Well, then I looked in the garage at the garage sale and saw that they had some for sale. So this is what I got. This is a bunny ears cactus, and I'm sure you can see why it's called a bunny ears cactus. If you hold it like this, it actually looks like a bunny. But I thought it was just the cutest cactus, and I wasn't going to leave the yard sale without one. They have little fine hair-like spines, which if you get one in your finger, I guess it can really hurt. Like it's like a hair sliver, I guess. But and it has all these little shoots coming off of it, and it's just really cute. I was just so excited to get this. You know, I love cactuses and succulents, and they're just so easy to take care of, and I need easy, because really, in all honesty, I'm not real good at gardening. I try, but I'm not really that good. So I was really excited about this. I do need to get it a new pot, or get my husband to drill a hole in the bottom of this pot, because there is no hole in the bottom, and I haven't had to water it yet. But yeah, so that's the bunny ears cactus, and it's just so cute. Okay, well, that's all I have for you today. It was a long one. Until next time, keep doing what you love. Bye.